Good morning. How you guys doing out there today? It's the 4th of November. Woohoo! We've made it to Election Day. If you haven't already done so, please go down to your local voting poll center and cast that ballot. No on Prop 50 if you want to keep our state functional as it is. Unless you're one of those folks who want to see it get destroyed or disrupted or chopped up or parceled out, then you're going to vote the other way. But for my Republican counterparts out there in the real world, not on the online world, not in the video world, go ahead, go down to your polling center, put in that no vote, cast your ballot, get it done with. My wife and I are going to go on a little walk today, and then that's exactly what I'm going to do is vote in person. She's already done the mail vote by mail thing, so she's taken care of. A lot of voting going on in the country this wonderful day. All over the nation, we're watching elections tonight. Excuse me, we're going to be watching elections till almost midnight. Because that's what they do. What happened in elections, what's going on with the elections. Oh, the final vote count is in. Here are the percentages. Let's watch them tick tock, go up, down, whatever the case might be. And then we have the after-election after reports of the opinions and the opinions and the opinions of what happened, what it means, and how it's going to affect each and every one of our lives moving forward from today. But today's not just about the 4th of November and the election of today. This month is a special month for a couple of other reasons that are happening in the month of November. 4th of November, of course, is Election Day. The 8th of November is the Gubernatorial Debate Forum Day. And then we have the most important day of the month, and for me, the most important day of this nation, Veterans Day on November 11th. And looking across the spectrum of what the country is doing and going through, you really have to wonder, where are we as a nation? What are we doing to ourselves? And I say that in a philosophical way because we have a generational divide in this nation. You can agree with me, not agree with me. It's your opinion. This is mine. You have those, what the people call boomers. I'm one of them. Sons of arthritis. Yes, that's my little shirt I'm going to be walking in today. Boomers, the generation after World War II. You have the remnants of the generation of World War II that are slowly but surely fading away into the history books. With each day, we lose another individual, another life, another memory, another experience of those time frames. So the children of those folks are left, and those are what we call the boomers. And then we have the follow-on generations. The Grenada kids, the Panama kids, the Iraq kids, the Afghanistan kids. We have these generations who have fought, bled, died for wherever the country called them to serve in the military armed forces of America. Last but not least, we have what's now being called the millennial generation. Those folks who are young, those folks who have not really experienced hardships. Oh, their life is difficult today, depending on which comedian you ask. Earthquake is very fond about talking about his kids in the millennial day. He kind of joked about one of his sons writing a goodbye to the world note because he was timed out into his room. You want to impact the millennial's life, take them on a road trip and hit a blackout area where they can't get the internet. You'll have conversation with an individual you didn't even know was in the back of your car. We have the plugged-in generation, the millennial generation, the generation of people who have not witnessed warfare on a global scale, who have not witnessed warfare and conflicts on regional, national levels, or on smaller scales. They haven't really witnessed much except social injustice, their hardship of where they're at, what they can't get, where the system has told them get educated to get a good job and they can't get a good job. We've raised up prices in order to try and help folks get good jobs. Hell, $20 an hour just to flip burgers. Used to be unheard of in my day. I'm pretty sure it was unheard of many of your days. These jobs could have been for teenagers, generally were. But they got morphed into something different. Now they're considered full-blown employment jobs. They're considered career jobs. They're considered something to give somebody $20 an hour job. And then you go to your local McDonald's and you're freaking out. Family of four, Jesus, you're going to pay almost $100 on a fast food joint. Wow. God help you if you go to a named restaurant. That's expensive. And because we're in California, we get an additional charge between the prices going up, the portions going down, the service being questionable abilities. You get taxed on whatever it is you purchased. Yes, that's going to be there. Whatever the state tax is, whatever the county tax is, sales tax. And the other day I saw one that I had to question, what the heck is this? Surcharge? What's the surcharge for? Oh, it's like a 1 or 2% hit. It's a fee. A fee. A fee for what? Oh, wow, that's right. For those people that are politically astute and keeping track, we owe the federal government in the state of California $18 billion. And because our EDD, the Unemployment Development Department, failed to keep track of the endless amounts of money that they just streamed out during COVID time frame. Yeah, that's 6-year back debacle by now. We've lost over $30 billion to that nonsense. One of the items as a governor candidate I will be working on, should I be elected. My goal is to try and get 75% of that back, but I digress. So what is this 2% surcharge we're doing, and what is this debt you're referring to, Leo? Well, because we owe the federal government $18 billion in EDD payments, unemployment benefit payments, Donald Trump has now called the bill due. And since Governor Gino isn't really concerned with the impacts, he's passed that debt on to businesses that are now imposing 2 to 5% surcharge taxes against its customer base to help pay for their increase in unemployment insurance coverage that they have to have. You neat how that works? They screw up, it's our fault. They overspend, it's our fault. Don't have enough money in the budget, hey, tax the citizens, it's their fault. And while we're on that concept, today I heard something that I'm still kind of not understanding the gist of it, and I'm wondering, and I'd like to ask the Republican know-it-alls out there, the so-called experts, the movers, the shakers, the rich people, all the party glumnists that cling to bylaws, standards, and everything else like that, please to explain to the rest of us, how does a Republican president endorse an independent candidate for a mayor's race when there's a Republican candidate present? How does that work? And to add insult to injury, that same Republican president is encouraging Republicans and Republican groups to do likewise, to disparage the Republican candidate on the ticket for the independent candidate on the ticket. Now, I understand the optics. We have to stop Mandami. We don't want a Democratic-socialist / communist into the position of mayor of New York City. But that starts to raise some questions, people. You have a lot of Republicans that live and die by bylaws, rules, and policies, procedures, and historical content. And we've just shattered that with this endorsement. How does that work? And is there a group out there that's going to do the same thing in this election? Already got a young assembly member jumping in behind a bandwagon of a just switched from a Democrat to a Republican candidate, Mr. Villanueva, and David Tempiga is helping him out, fully endorsed. Woo! How does that work? 8.5 million people live in New York, and those are the only 3 gentlemen who made it into the race to run for mayor. How does that work? A socialist, a has-been governor, is trying to claw his way back after all the problems he had when he was governor. And Mr. Sliwa, who's been around since 1979 at the formation of his group Guardian Angels, that everybody discounts and wants to discount as somebody doing nothing more than grifting for his own padded paycheck, because he's not the candidate that the Republicans want, but he's the candidate that they have. If you wanted somebody better, maybe you should have coached somebody and prepared somebody better to join the race, but you didn't. So you have what you have, and now you're getting ready to vote in a socialist, Democrat / communist candidate for the mayor of New York City. Wow. What are we doing? Go back to 9/11. Tell me again, what are we doing? See that plane striking the World Trade Center? Who was on it? It wasn't Socialist Democrats, at least not that I'm aware of. That's not what was reported. Now, adding more fuel to the fire, don't get me wrong, I understand what President Trump is doing. A lot of things he does and the way he acts on certain items. Only difference between him and I is he's rich. We make the same noises on some of the same topics. But when you, as the President of the United States of America, start declaring that you're going to withhold federal money from a city because of their choice of candidate for their mayor, well, sir, ma'ams, I have a problem with that. I have a problem with any president dictating to a state, community, county, city, whatever the case might be, that you're going to withhold federal funding from that principality because, excuse me, insert the excuse. Federal money is paid for by everybody. Every citizen that pays a tax throughout this nation pays federal taxes that go into federal funding for something. That's an ugly precedent to start to set as well, withholding federal cash from citizens. What are you saying? They don't have to pay into the federal programs anymore because you could possibly withhold their money? And let's be clear on that aspect. It's our money, not yours. You're just the purveyors of watching it, spending it. Unfortunately, not the way we would like to. But that's all that is. You have the fiduciary responsibility to ensure that money is spent wisely, prudently, and not excessively, which our Congress has failed to do for many years, but we won't go there on that. So again, look at the statements that are being made and start to raise that question. Matter of fact, ask your Republican leadership, WTF/WTH is going on in the party. And the bigger picture that we as Americans have to start facing and realizing, especially coming up on the November 11th timeframe, where we honor the vets who serve, we honor the potential vets who are willing to put their hand up, take that oath to join the prospective service that they wish to join, whether it's Space Force, the Air Force, the National Guard, the Reservists, the Active Duty Army, the Marines, the Navy, the Coast Guard, whatever the case might be. They are volunteering to step up to the plate to help protect this nation from enemies, both foreign and domestic. I did that back in 1980. I stepped up, but wasn't having no sense of patriotic duty. That's another story unto itself. But I stepped up, and I endured 15 years, and I gave 15 years. And in the military, we endure a lot. For me, it was 15 years. Infantrymen, the 11 Bravos, God bless each and every one of you out there who might be an 11 Bravo listening, you know exactly what I mean when I say I endured 15 years. I know damn well you guys definitely endured 15 years. But you served proudly and honorably. And that was manifested in the discharge paperwork you got, in the discharge service certificate you got that said honorably discharged from the service of, insert your branch in your name and your rank. You weren't thrown out, you weren't court-martialed out, you weren't embarrassedly removed. November 11th, we celebrate those who serve. We also celebrate those who gave their all in service for their countrymen and their country. Many Vietnam vets understand that concept. Many World War II vets understand that concept. We understand what the World War II vets did for this world that came from little Bowtucket, Kentucky, to help prevent the world from being consumed and conquered by those enemies of the past. Some little out-of-the-way town, middle of nowhere, had a son that joined the service or was drafted into the service, and they gave it their all. And now here we are today as a nation in the 21st century, nearly 80 years down. And what are we doing? We know, the boomer generation knows, the generation before boomers knows, the generation maybe right after boomers understand and know what socialism is. We have fought it. We have stood against it. We have preached against it. We have encouraged other nations to not drift towards it. We've done many things against it. And now we're on the cusp of ushering it into one of the largest cities in America, New York City. Of all the places to start is there. Ground zero of 9/11. Ground zero of the greatest terrorist attack ever conducted against a nation by individuals outside of our nation. What has happened in the psychic of Americans? There was a post online today that just about had me going 5150. But you have to breathe, you have to pause, you have to look at the individual, and you have to determine, is this a bot just starting some stuff, or is this actually a real person that doesn't have a clue about life? So I'm going to go with the latter. Their post basically was, because down south in California, they're putting a cap on rental cap. So down south in California, this individual posted out, there wouldn't be a problem in housing numbers. There wouldn't be a problem for housing shortages. There wouldn't be a problem of the housing issue if the older generation, the boomer generation, the old people would get out of their homes that have already outgrown them. Two old people living in a 2,000-3,000 foot home. They need to leave so that younger folks can raise their families in those just vacated homes. I want that to sink in for a minute to understand what that individual, if it's really an individual, just said. You're old and have a house that's too big for your needs. The one that you bought and paid for. The one that you maybe built with your own hands and paid for. The one that you put into blood, sweat, and tears for. The one that you raised your family in and had your extended family in. They want you to leave because they want your home for their families to thrive. But you need to go because it doesn't need to be your home anymore. We said so. Who the hell are the we? And sir, ma'am, whoever it was that wrote that post, who in the hell are you to dictate to a family in their home whether they can stay in it or not, based on its size, based on their age? What the hell society did you get born into, and get raised into to make that declaration? Is that some crap nonsense coming from overseas into America, or is that some American-born thing that's growing in our nation as the seed of destruction that somebody planted? I can't stand those people. I have to represent them. Doesn't mean I have to like them. And I definitely don't like that train of thought. To tell somebody they have to give up their home based on the relevance to their age and the size of their home in relation and regards to a younger family that wants it simply so that they can raise a family is not acceptable. That's not even something that I would even entertain, much less listen to beyond 5 seconds of "you're past stupid, we're done." Ladies and gentlemen, I've seen that commentary online on the internet as a small drop in the ocean. Tink. Like little raindrops. Tink. And in the last year, I've seen a few more of them come out. Same thing. Call it mist. First it's dew, then it's mist, then it's a drizzle, then it's a light rain, then it's a heavy rain, then it's a downpour. Put that in whatever spectrum that you want to put it in, that's what you're facing. What's happening in New York is what we're facing. What's happening in Minnesota is what we're facing. The new face of America, and it's very scary if that's the path we're going to. Because as the older generation fades away, the younger generation that has never had the hardships of the past, no world wars, no global conflicts, no regional conflicts, no localized conflicts, social injustices, high cost of living, get told no. Oh my God, it's the first time I ever heard, "Oh, I can't do that." Says who? Says society norms. That's who. You don't get to throw a rock through the business's plate glass window because you didn't like their hamburger. You don't get to rob the old lady of her purse because you wanted the contents and she was an impediment to you getting what you wanted. You don't get to push the old person out of your way because you're more important than they are and you wanted to be first in line. You don't get to drive your car 200 miles an hour down the roadway and cause major crashes and death as results of your stupidity because you're in a hot rod and you wanted to show off to your girlfriend, oh, who, by the way, you survived, she died in. What are we doing? Where are we going? November 11th is a good day to reflect on those questions. Honor those who served, honor those who are getting ready to serve, and honor those who gave service to everything that they have. As you stand over those sites and wonder, what is it that they fought for? And what is it that we're leaving our children for the future? Those of us who served did it so that many people wouldn't have to in the future. To protect the United States of America. To keep this nation strong and free. And as a beacon of hope for others to emulate. Not to conquer, to emulate. Over 200 years ago, a dream was started that turned into what this nation is today. And people hate us for it. They hate the concept of our government. They hate the concept of our freedoms. They hate the concept of citizens being able to be armed, to defend themselves, to believe that they actually have rights, that their government is subservient to the citizenry and not the other way around. Many nations can't stand us. And if it was up to them, many nations would take great joy in watching our demise. From a little nation that could barely keep itself afloat to the powerhouse of the world that it is today, built on the backs of those citizens that worked towards a goal and those citizens who volunteered to protect that goal. That's where we are today. That's where we should be today. But we should not be entertaining the grift and stupidity of socialism disguised as democracy, democratic socialists slash communists. And we should definitely not be adhering to this crap of, I want your home because you're too old, the home's too big, and you don't need it because I said so. Whoever keeps coming up with that stupidity maybe needs to go back and get an education. Obviously, that's proof that it's failing and it needs to be fixed. And I'll do my best to work on it. So thank you one and all for this video, much shorter than the other ones I've posted before. Enjoy the day of voting. I'm getting ready to go out here, walk, do some exercise, get the blood pumping. And then I'm going to get ready to go take care of my business, which is to vote in November the 4th, voting no on Prop 50. And then I'm going to start prepping up to get ready to attend the Great Governor Debate Forum on the 8th of November, 2025 in San Marcos, California. Kim Yater hosting Take Your Power Back event. Got 12 other candidates I'll be facing off against, trying to represent the citizens of this state in California. God bless you one and all. Have a great afternoon. You want to learn more about me and where I stand on positions, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, go to my website, Leo Naranjo, the number 4governor.com, and you should find all the information you seek right then and there. Donate. Love donations. The major link doesn't work. My apologies, but you can donate by PayPal and you can donate by Zelle. Please do so, number included. You can always write a check in, money order in. Yep, we accept those too. Information is on that website. You guys have a blessed day. Do what you need to do. If you haven't, I'm asking you. I'm not telling you. I'm not ordering you. I'm not forcing you. I'm not cajoling you. I'm not browbeating you. I am asking you. Take 5 minutes out of your day. Knock out that vote. If you want to drop it off in the mail, make sure they post, date stamp it right then and there before they accept your envelope. It's that simple. That's all it takes. Win, lose, or draw, the events will show whatever happens, happens, and we're going to keep moving forward in spite of anything that comes out, good, bad, or indifferent. Because we are Californians, and that's what we do. If you don't believe me, look at the years of adversity we've endured already in this state for over 30 years. I'd say that's some hell of a resilience for those people still here. One of the reasons why I'm fighting for governor is because you are still here, and so am I. So you guys have a great day. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy it with your families. Have a wonderful week. Let's hope those people in Washington finally get their proverbial acts together. And take care. Everyone have a wonderful afternoon, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.